From dozens of lawsuits against the Trump administration and a state Supreme Court ruling that gave his department more authority, we're sitting down with Attorney General Josh Kaul to recap 2025.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks.
So I want to go ahead and just get started with the easy question, which is, what do you think the top stories coming out of your office are for this year?
Well, my top priority at the Department of Justice is public safety, and we've made progress on some significant issues. I'm really proud of the work that we do on those issues. That includes things like drug trafficking or homicides and other very serious offenses. I also advocated for additional funding in the state budget for crime victim services, and while there wasn't as much included as I asked for, there was $20 million plus additional funding for CACs, $4 million for those child advocacy centers. Our Office of School Safety continued to do important work to help make schools in Wisconsin as safe as possible. And then we also recently talked about the Overdose Death Initiative, which was launched in 2024, where we have investigators working in collaboration with others, both local and federal officials, county and federal officials, to ensure that when there's an overdose death, that there's a full and thorough investigation.
I just want to quickly jump in and ask about this budget here, because we saw the state crime lab report just come out, and one of the things you mentioned in that was the lack of the 19 positions. Talk to me a little bit about what it means to not have those positions.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have not had the kind of investment in our crime labs that we have repeatedly called for. The good news is we've made some significant enhancements to the labs over the years. There's a new Milwaukee crime lab being built, but we haven't had investment from the legislature. So in the last budget, we asked for 19 positions for the labs. There were 0 that were provided. Having those resources helps ensure that the labs are operating efficiently and can help cut down turnaround times.
And I want to move now to some federal topics, because you've been a part of dozens of lawsuits against the Trump administration. And I want to ask, overall, do you think that this has been successful?
It has been. We've been winning case after case, and so we've gotten a lot of favorable rulings from courts. The Trump administration, in some cases, has also backed down, but the impact has been really significant. There are hundreds of millions of dollars in one-time funding that's at stake in these cases that has been preserved because of these actions or because the Trump administration has backed down.
Is this a sustainable route for the next 3+ years of the Trump administration?
It's my hope that the administration is going to see order after order ruling against it and say, we want to follow the law. We don't want to keep violating the law. We don't want courts to continue to find that what we're doing is impermissible. That hasn't been the approach that the administration has taken so far. But ultimately, that's a call for our executive branch and the federal government to make.
And I want to ask, too, because in June, the state Supreme Court unanimously ruled that the Republican-controlled Joint Finance Committee doesn't have the authority to approve settlement agreements made by your department. What did that ruling mean for the DOJ?
Well, that was a really positive step. You know, when I was first elected in 2018, the legislature rushed into a special session to try to take authority away from the governor's office as well as my office, and that is one of the cases we've been involved in that has pushed back against this and protected our ability to resolve cases. What it means is that there are now cases we can resolve more efficiently, that we can move forward without having to go to a legislative committee, and it's helped restore the balance of powers between the executive branch and the legislative branch.
And just to kind of wrap up our conversation, I want to look forward to 2026 really quickly and ask, what are you thinking are some of the big headlines you'd like to see out of next year?
Well, I want to build on the progress that we've been making. On public safety, for instance, we are making important progress, but there's a lot more to do. So I look forward to continuing to fight for funding for crime victim services, or to get long-term funding. This will probably be in 27, but for the Office of School Safety, so that office is in good position for the long term. We have a lot of these pending cases that are still ongoing, and so having good resolutions in those cases is important to protecting the freedoms of Wisconsinites, but also to protecting critical programs. And we've got to keep doing the work we're doing at Wisconsin DOJ to protect people's pocketbooks.
That was a condensed version of our conversation with Attorney General Kaul. To hear more about specific cases, you can visit channel3000.com.